All right, so now we're going to add all three of those together. So far, we've learned end behavior, zeros, and multiplicity. And we're going to show you that once you've got it like that, then you're going to be able to do a rough sketch of any of those graphs. So let's talk about, I don't know if it matters the order, but let's go ahead and get our zeros first. I always actually put my zeros down on my graph first. So we love it when it is factored for us. Notice that this lovely polynomial, they've already written in factored form. So this is just like one of our earlier examples when we can see our zeros. You're just going to set the 0 equal to 0. So right here, you've got a 0 is my 0. It has a multiplicity of 2, which means it's going to bounce. Remember the even numbers, if it has an even multiplicity, it bounces. It's an odd number, it crosses. All right, let's look at this one. We're going to do these in different colors. My 0 here, what makes it go to 0 is a positive 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. Notice right here, its multiplicity, it's invisible. That means it's just a 1. Okay, odd multiplicities cross the axis. And then our last one, let's do blue. And we've got a fraction here, 2x plus 5. If I want to set that equal to 0, we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So 2x is equal to negative 5. So negative 5 halves is my 0. It has multiplicity 2, so it bounces as well. I just spelled that wrong. Let's erase this so that you guys know I know how to spell bounces right there at that negative 5 halves. All right. So after I find my zeros, I'm going to graph those. That's the first thing I'm going to put on my graph here is I'm going to put these. So this is where my x crosses at 0, at positive 9. We're just going to kind of try to make, we're going to say we go over 9 and we go back 5 halves, which is like 2.5. So it's about right there. So I've got those lovely 3 zeros right here. Remember, this is just a rough sketch. If you want to do a number line and tick off 9 marks and negative 5 halves, that's fine too. All right. Now I'm going to go back. After I do my zeros, I'm going to go back and get the end behavior. Okay, so we're going to have to graph the zeros, end behavior, and then multiplicity behavior, these effects of the multiplicity. So end behavior, zeros are really easy to find in factored form, but for end behavior, we like it written in standard form, or we like them all multiplied together. So what you're going to do, you could go through and distribute this x squared to both terms. So then what do you get? You have a x to the third minus 9x squared. So you could distribute that to those terms and then multiply it to this 2x plus 5 squared. I would distribute this as well. This is really 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5. So we could go through and do this multiplication. But here's what I'm going to tell you. You're really only interested in the first term. So what you can do to find this first term in standard form is you could just multiply the x to the highest power and its coefficient in every single binomial here or monomial. So we could multiply this x to the third times 2x times 2x. So 2 times 2 is 4. X to the third times x is x to the fourth times another x is x to the fifth. Okay, there's going to be more terms after that, but I really only care about this. Again, you don't even really have to even get that far. Just take this x squared times x, that gives you x to the third, times 2x times 2x again. So times all those together, and you get this lovely 4x to the fifth. Now, this tells you a few things about the end behavior. Remember, odd degree means it goes opposite. They're different directions. Okay, the 4 being positive just means that you're going uphill. So we're going to go down at the left, up at the right. So that's what I'm going to draw on my point on the farthest right. I'm going to go up. It's going to go up after this point, and then it's going to go down on the left. So that's my end behavior. Now for the zeros behavior, remember the multiplicity just tells me if it bounces, if it hits that 0 and bounces back into the same axis it came from, or if it crosses. So first of all, you got to get these zeros right. This 0 right here is my negative 5 halves. Okay, so that one had multiplicity of 2, which means it bounces. It's just going to kind of ricochet. It doesn't really cross the axis. It is a 0. It hits there, but it just comes right back. Okay, then I look at my next 0, which is 0. It also has multiplicity of 2, so it's going to bounce again. I'm going to come up there and bounce back again one more time. And then this 9, this 9, where my x is 9 here, it has multiplicity of 1, so it's going to cross that x-axis and keep going up to infinity. So that, again, that's just our rough draft, our rough sketch of what that's going to look like. All right, let's look at this next one right here. Notice this one is going to be easy to see end behavior because it's written in what we call standard form. So we've got x to the 5th, which means it's that 5th power. It's just like this one. They're going to go different directions. It's a positive one. So they're actually going to be the same end behavior. It's going to go up on the right, down on the left right there. However, that's only helpful at the very end. We need to find some zeros. So we're going to do this by factoring. So what is your greatest common factor between all three of these? Well, you could factor out an x to the 3rd. And I'm left with an x squared plus 6x plus 9 right there. And you can factor this one more time, x to the 3rd. This is going to be what two numbers multiply to 9 and add to 6? Well, plus 3. So plus 3 plus 3. Again, most of the time you're going to see this as just written as, eraser. You're going to see this written as the x plus 3 squared. Since it's a factor twice, they're just going to write it like this. Okay, so this looks a little bit better than this, just to help us find our zeros. Now, in this case, there's actually only 2 zeros. I know they've left a place for 3, but there's only 2. X could be 0. 0 to the 3rd is equals 0. 0 could be a 0. Notice the multiplicity, again, is just the degree, so it's a degree of 3. If it's an odd number, it's going to cross the graph. Okay, sometimes it stretches a little longer at that point, but it will cross. And then our negative 3 is a 0 right here. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. It has what we call multiplicity of 2, so it is going to bounce at that point. All right. Okay, so when we go to graph these, I'm going to put down my 2 zeros. Here's a 0 at 0. Here's a 0 at negative 3. I would go back and do my end behavior next. Notice it's going to go up on the right, and it's going to go down on the left. There's my end behavior. Now I'm just going to look right here. This 0 right here at negative 3, it bounces. My multiplicity is 2, so it's going to bounce. It's going to come back down. But at this 3, it's going to kind of go up and cross a little right there. So it's going to cross at 0, bounce at the negative 3. All right. Okay, we'll do the last 2 examples in the last video.